Alright, what's going on, all my gamers, all my Honkai Star Rail gamers? So, I haven't reacted to a Mrpokke video yet, and I really wanted to get that out of the way. And this is, I really wanted to talk about this, or this is a pretty interesting topic, Acheron and Powercreep. I definitely feel Powercreep because I used to play Zila all the time, and God, now I definitely don't, that's for sure. Anyways, let's watch. Oh yeah, you gotta get the... bury the light in there. That was the first thing I thought of when I first saw this. Approaching black clouds in ice. Oh my god, she's so hot. Born in flames, I have been blessed. My family crest is the demon of death. Subscribe.
Hey guys, Mrpokke here.
Mrpokke,
Back with
Mr. Mew
another
himself.
video, and this is going to be a follow-up video to something that I've made about 3 months ago. Editor, you can include the
Is there
thumbnail,
power creep?
which is where we discussed potential state of power creep when Inhibitor Lunae first came out. The reason why I want to talk about this is a little bit is because of, as you will know by now, Acheron. I feel that after the past couple of days since she has been released, it is to no one's surprise that she has currently went above and beyond all of our expectations.
Not me. Guess who? Guess who wasn't surprised? Guess who was there from the beginning saying that I'm gonna get this character and I'm gonna play the shit over there. It was me, baby. I told everyone that they should play her, but it's not because of whether she was good or not. Just because she was hot. That's unrelated. I just so happen to be right.
Damage numbers, right? When it comes to what a DPS
Lucky me.
is capable of doing, Acheron has proven that E0S1, E0S0, E2S1, and even E6S5, she pretty much dominates every other DPS that has came before her. And I think that by now, if people still do not want to accept this as fact, then respectfully, I do believe that they are coping. In all sense of the word, she has made a very significant impact with regards to what we are used to seeing for our damage numbers from a DPS, right? I would say that as someone that has pretty much played with every single DPS since 1.0, at least every single limited 5-star DPS since 1.0, impact that Acheron has on our current DPS ranking, it is, I would say, much more impactful compared to any of our previous successors, right? I think the closest thing, we had 2 phases that were really big. The first one being Inhibitor Lunae, which at his base form was a very big step up compared to our previous DPS classes, such as Scylla, Jingyuan, Blade, all that kind of stuff. And then,
man, speaking of someone who definitely didn't age properly, man, Jingyuan, am I right? I really wanted to like Jingyuan, mostly just because he's voiced by Sayu in the English. I guess I was right either way. He was voiced by Sayu in the English, so I was like, yeah, I'll play Jingyuan, and he's got the cool I'm blanking on the word, Susanoo. Yeah, the cool avatar that of the electric god, but he definitely did. I think it's as soon as I played him, I was like, maybe I'm building him wrong. This can't be right. But like, I never found a reason why I would pick him over Kafka. And I've had Kafka since release because of course you gotta have Kafka. But I still to this day don't have Donhung Prime. And I use my friend's Donhung Prime, who's like, I think like C6 S5, whatever the fuck, and I don't know, man. It does a shit ton of damage. It definitely does, but like I don't think I would spend that much time and money just to get Donhung Prime that high up and that level, or and to get him E6 or anything like that. I definitely wouldn't. So Acheron was a nice change of pace because I don't have Jinglu, even though at this point, as the point of this video coming out, Jinglu is in rotation. I don't have her yet. I need her very badly. Please, someone give me Jingli here.
Came along Jingliu, which wasn't that bad, but she
I
was
need
still
her.
really strong in a sense where she offered a very low barrier to entry for new players, for players without good relics, in building a good hyper
need better
team
relics
comp
for her.
because of her free 100 crit value or 50% crit rate. So even though Jingliu came after in Bitter Dune, it was still pretty clear that both of these units still shine quite well in their respective fields. But now with the introduction of Acheron, her damage output is so high to the point where very few, if ever any DPS can come close to what she has to offer. Not simply from a perspective of a final damage output, but also from the perspective of what is required for Acheron to do said damage output, which is one of the key strengths of Jingliu, which is you can get her up very easily and she can do a lot of tasks, right? So for Acheron, she pretty much offers everything that you would need in a DPS. I don't think we need to talk much about damage numbers because I'm pretty sure you have seen by now the ridiculous amount of damage that you can output from E0S0 all the way to E6S5. Numbers that you have pretty much never seen before in your entire lives.
That's very true. I'm trying to think of who even comes close to my Acheron's damage at this point. Maybe Qingtre. I have Qingtre like C6 with pretty decent relics, just not the best. Definitely not Dr. Ratio. We know how much Dr. Ratio sucked fucking cock. Man, I wouldn't throw his chalk at a fucking chalkboard, bro. I can't figure him out, and at this point I don't really care. Fuck him. My Zila is Powercreep to shit. At this point, Kafka might as well be on her own team. Like, if I have to do a 2-person team kind of thing, I'm just putting Kafka on her own team and then trying to put, like, Pella with my Acheron, just because using anyone else just feels super bad.
Till Acheron came into play. Though I do want to point out a lot of these damage numbers, one could say they might be inflated because it is AoE effect and it will still deal damage to mobs that are dead, right? So something to keep in mind. But even without that, it is still undeniable that on a single target, her ultimate still deals ridiculous amounts of damage. It looks just cool. This damage output alone, but it is how often you can use this ultimate, which takes
oh my god,
to the next level. I did an excellent comparison with this Archon.
It is insane.
Like, can you imagine if Mrpokke Rune can use his 3 skill point enhanced basic attack twice in a single turn? It is pretty much like E2, but you have this at the get-go at E0 because you can make this a reality using the right setup. And we have seen after playing Honkai Star for a while by now, you can achieve this with Pella, Silverwolf, Black Swan, even Gui Naifen, and she can very consistently get a
I don't have Silverwolf.
Ultimate.
Forgot about that.
I do think that this high frequency as well as high damage is what makes Acheron such a leaks above the rest compared to the rest of the damage dealers. In fact, I would say that for Acheron specifically, she's probably deserving of her own tier. For the first time it happens, I genuinely believe that she deserves a special tier for Acheron alone. She's so
like unreleased Seraphine.
Up above everyone else, just it doesn't make sense for them.
Was Seraphine broken and released? No, she got broken later. That's unrelated.
For her to be in the same class as Mrpokke and Jingliu at this point, and that's just for the damage numbers alone. So now let's talk about
Did I just speed this up? I hope I didn't. Oh, he just sped up himself.
Issue of not issue. Her ease of access, right? Her ease of access, which is she is able to make use of units that players previously were not able to make use of. And then
I completely forgot about Pella before this. And even then, I still won't use her because I have Black Swan and Kafka, but until Acheron came out, I completely forgot about Pella. And I didn't realize she was that busted because I have her C6 and I have her like pretty decently built. I just need to get like better speed on her because I don't build speed on most people because I'm dumb. And I didn't really like look into all because you don't really need much to actually get through most of the game. So I never really did, and I didn't use Pella anyways. I like built it on like Ruan Mei, which man, that's a train wreck in itself. I didn't realize what Ruan Mei did until like a month after I had her. But Acheron is just so easy to build, and it's just everything just comes together so easily.
There's a point that I've brought up frequently in my Acheron analysis. You can now make use of even units like Gui Naifen to make Acheron.
Whoa. Alright, listen. Gwen Naifen was good before this. I don't think she was. I thought she was good just because I thought she was really cute. Chat, you're gonna learn a lot of me liking characters and me playing characters, whether they're good or bad, is whether they're cute or not, bro. Like I love Gwen Ifen, or not Gwen Ifen, Chingtre, just because she's a little gremlin. That's it. That's what does it for me. That's what I was like. You know what? I'm building her. I even built Dre, and she's fucking trash, brother. But I was like, you know what? I really want to build Hanya, but I'd rather fucking scrape my nuts across the ground than waste my time on that.
Ridiculous.
She's very pretty.
You can now make use of units like Fire MC. We've assumed that you do have a trend of universal market, and you don't have to tie down your Ting Yun and Huo Huo to Acheron. You can now fully dedicate your Ting Yun and Huo Huo to the other team and make them deal the maximum benefit. Because the previous issue that we had from other DPSs was that they had to share, right? A lot of DPS. In fact, every single DPS in the game, with the only exception being Blade, every single one of them wanted Ting Yun. Every single one of them wanted Huo Huo. Acheron provides this.
Oh, right, I have Ting Yun. Whoops.
Alternative path that she doesn't even need them and still deal tremendous amounts of damage. Not only does she have ridiculous vertical scaling, she also have excellent horizontal investment value for players who want to just make two different teams. She is pretty much like your DOT, except she doesn't make use of DOT. She just makes use of your leftover units that you wouldn't even use. And now you can make your second team perform in their maximum potential by making use of units like Huo Huo and Ting Yun. Because of this reason, Acheron, I would say, is a very, very free-to-play friendly unit, because
I think so
other
too.
DPS offer the similar level of horizontal investments to.
I think Acheron came out. I got him while he's mewing, Mrpokke Mew. Anyways, I think Acheron came out at the perfect time, especially during the anniversary. I feel like they plan. I mean, you know, maybe they did plan this, maybe they didn't. Maybe it's just my conspiracy. I really think that Acheron came out at the perfect time where it's almost impossible that you didn't get her, and the only way you didn't get her is if you save her Venturine, which, in my opinion, you fucking folded the bag, brother. But still, Acheron it was almost impossible not to get. You know what I mean? At least that's my opinion. I think Acheron was like Acheron might as well have been free to play, or might as well have been free. You know what I mean, chat?
Acheron. But of course, we can't just talk only about Acheron's strength. We do have to talk a little bit about weaknesses, right? Because this is not an Acheron dick sucking competition, right? We do have to talk a little bit about.
Why not? How the fuck is it not? I want to suck Acheron. Never mind.
Despite all her glory, there are still some downsides to Acheron, although these downsides, they are very, very easily overcome. Unlike, you know, for example, units mechanics like Lightning Lord, right? Which is, you can't really change that. Okay, for units like Acheron, one downside is compared to, for example, Jingliu, you do need to have quite a good number of crit value to make her work, right? You can't really expect her to perform without a satisfactory crit value. But then again, this downside, it pretty much befalls upon every single DPS that we see, every single hyper DPS, crit hyper carry DPS, with the exception of Jingliu because of the free 50% crit rate. So Acheron will also face this similar issue. If you don't have a good enough crit rate or crit damage, she's not going to perform as much as you want. But that being said, my counterpoint is, given the same number of investment you would have given to Acheron, she will be the best performer compared to every other crit DPS. So if your Acheron is, let's just say, 70% crit with 120% crit damage, it's not great. For every other crit DPS, like your Impetus Rune, your Scylla, your Jingyuan, your Himiko, your Herda, your Yanqing, your everyone else, Acheron will probably be the one that will make use of this 70% crit, 120% crit damage to the highest efficiency because of her ridiculous damage multipliers, as well as how frequently you can cast ultimate, right? So that's my counterpoint. Another point that players may face when using Acheron is they simply don't have set nihility units, because although Acheron is comfortable in the sense where it allows you to make use of units that you previously were not making use of, such as your Gwen Ifen, Pela, Wolf, and now you can use of Ting and Huo Huo, you still have to use those nihility units. So if you don't have Gwen Ifen, Pela, Wolf, Black Swan, then one could say Acheron would be a little bit difficult when it comes to team building. Right?
Oh,
so
right. See, I never really thought about that myself because I have Black Swan and Kafka. So I guess I guess I had a Mrpokke moment there where I'm also I'm very unrelatable to most people, but having Kafka is Kafka Black Swan really makes it a lot easier. But I also am a big advocate for nihility units. I always love going nihility units. It's just always fun to like make build up the damage and then just watch people pop I don't know. For me, that's really sick. Plus, the Hildy units have um my favorite aspect of the game where you don't have to build crit rate or crit damage on them. I honestly think crit rate and crit damage is such a fucking it's such a pain in the ass to build myself. I still, even with Jingliu, like I'm having problem trying to get crit damage on her because nothing ever goes into crit damage. And I just straight up won't get crit damage. But that's neither here nor there. That's a skill issue, I guess. So Nihility units have always been my favorites. Plus they're, cool. And two of them are mommy as fuck, so,
To like your normal hyper carries, like your Jingliu, your Bizurune, they can pretty much function even without the nihility units, right? Because we also have harmony units, right? The counterpoint to that is, for now, maybe at the very start of the game, you won't have access to a lot of these nihility units. But if you want to take a look at everybody at the same starting line, which is if nobody have any of the units, like if you don't have Ting, you don't have Project, you don't have Sparkle, then even your normal hyper carries, such as let's just say like let's just say you're starting this game right now and you were to pull for Jingliu, right? If you don't have Ting Yun, don't have Bronya, don't have Sparkle, don't have Pella, you only have like, let's just say you only have like Asta and like, I don't know, like Hanya. Or let's just say you have like Asa and Hanya, or like Asa and Yukong and Izio Yukong. Jingliu herself would also not perform as up to par as you would like it to be.
Oh, I never thought of it that way.
It doesn't just pick Acheron once again.
I've also thought about like going through the game again on like a Asia account, because you can pick the different servers and it just starts you from the beginning. I've also thought about doing that, and then I keep thinking to myself, do I really want to level a brand new account? That's going to be a pain in the ass. I don't know if there's enough story to where I could do it. I have 2 Genshin accounts, and I don't know. I really struggle to really find a reason to farm on the second account when I have my first account with everyone super built. So I wonder if today, because I wouldn't have Black Swan, I wouldn't have Acheron, I wouldn't have Fushan. I don't know how I would really get through a lot of the game. I'm gonna be so real because I won't have Luca either. I use Lechuga a lot, and he saved me through a lot of shit. I don't know. I watched my friend play completely new, and it's like, man, why don't you use this character? Oh wait, you don't have them. Or like even when Hex Juice before she got Pella, it's like, man, that's rough, buddy.
It also plagues your other hypercarry DPS units. So once again, although this is a weakness, it is not a weakness that is only shared by Acheron. I think that is pretty much most of it. The fundamental point is, for Acheron, I do believe that she sets a slightly concerning future for Honkai Star Rail, which is how are we going to balance the future units as well as previous units going forward. If
you don't, fuck them. Don't balance them.
Now, where Acheron is extremely strong, how strong will future DPS units be?
I don't believe Bussy Hill will even like come close to what Acheron is. I'm gonna be so real. I mean, he looks cool, and his whole kit looks. I mean, I don't know. They haven't released anything on him, but he looks cool. His voice actor's cool. And maybe Bussy Hill won't hit. Like he might not hit like Acheron. Maybe the next few 4 or 5 DPSs probably won't hit as good as Acheron, but it's a risk you take, bro.
In comparison with Acheron, would it be the same? Would it be worse? Would it be better? And relative to that, how will our older DPS units perform compared to the newer DPS and Acheron, right? So example, if you were a player that, okay, as much as we don't want to compare these two, we have to compare these two because they are the only 2 units that share so much in common. Jingyuan and Acheron. They are both lightning, they are both crit DPS, and they both function as a hyper carry, right? For a player, let's just say you're a player who only picked up your Jingyuan as your other limited DPS, and you compare it to a friend that just joined the game. They just joined the game and they picked up Acheron as a limited DPS, and you yourself, you're not putting for Acheron because you have Jingyuan, right? You're gonna notice that the player that started later in Honkai Star Rail, they're gonna have a much easier time clearing the content because of her relative strength compared to Jingyuan. It is nothing personal. It is just a matter of fact.
Yeah,
right? So
I still don't.
I am a little bit concerned, even from my perspective, right? Because I'm not gonna hide it. my chat decided to be an excellent community
Not gonna
and they
sugarcoat
decided
it.
to support my funding for my own E6S5 Acheron. I would say
be
that
nice.
I feel very fortunate, very blessed for Acheron or Acheron, as you would say, to be my first E6.
Acheron, that's
because
funny.
God forbid if I were to ever E6S5 any of the previous DPSs, such as Scylla, Jingyuan, Blade, Imbibitor Rune, Jingliu.
I don't know what Zila's what her constellations are, but I definitely would not recommend putting that much money into Acheron. Acheron, I said that one wrong. Into Zila. Zila just got Powercreep. She got deluked basically, which I mean it's fine. She's like the first character to come out in the game. I think that's something that I don't know if people talk about. I have experience with like League of Legends, so when a character comes out of meta and just gets Powercreep by the character before them, it's fine. It happens. You know, the meta changes like every other week. Your character is not going to always be playable. You just got to get used to it. You could play them, and unless you're Diamond 1 plus, you could pretty much play anything, and as long as you have fundamentals, you're going to climb in the game. It doesn't really matter, but your character will not always be good. That's just a fact. Jingyuan, Zila, who else? Kafka, definitely not. Kafka definitely has been. Kafka stood the test of time. I don't know who else is the DPSs that aren't good. I don't see a lot of people using Argenti. I think he's a DPS. I know Jingyuan has been Powercrept. I don't know why you would pick him. Zila is fucking awful. I don't know why you would pick her. Yangqing is, why is he still in the game? There's a lot of characters that just are not good, and that's fine. It happens. It's gonna happen, and it will happen again. Someone's gonna make Acheron look like she couldn't cut a piece of paper with scissors. But that's just gonna happen. You know?
All these crit hyper carry, they are not even close to the amount of damage that Acheron at E6S5 is going to perform. And that's just one example I'm seeing. So even for whales, it might not set a good taste if all their previous E6S5, they're not even close to the amount of damage that you're going to be dealing with Acheron, right? Although at this point, it is completely irrelevant because at this point, you're just putting for who you love, right? If you love a unit, you're going to E6S5 them, regardless of how much you're going to do.
But pick the hot character, chat. I was going to say that too. I was going to say it at the end, but I'll say it now. Just pick who you like. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about the meta. Why don't you meta my nuts? You know? Meta the back of my dick. What you need to do is just pick a character that you like and play it. I've been doing nothing but playing characters that I love because I think they're hot. I play Kafka because I think she's hot. I played Qingchui because she's a little gremlin and she's cute. I played Zila because she was hot. I still have Zila, and I'll still pick her every now and again, but it's not because she's good or anything. It's just because I think she's hot. I have Black Swan because she's hot. You know? I'm just saying, the meta doesn't really matter. What matters is being a Coomer.
But going forward into the future, if like this is gonna be the precedent for players that don't care about like the waifu Hans bundles and they want to care about like meta, they want to care about min-maxing, how would they go about trying to justify a DPS pooling option? Will you just say, oh shit, maybe next time Mihoyo will just release like another unit that's like similar to Acheron or even stronger than Acheron. So why would I ever need to pull for any of the reruns? Which, by the way, I don't think you should ever pull for reruns in Honkai Star Rail, but that's a completely different matter. Yeah, so like it makes players wonder, right? It makes players wonder like,
yeah, I'm not listening to that because I need Jingliu. She's hot, not like Amelie.
Was their investment this entire time really worth it when like a brand new DPS just completely like stomps the previous damage categories? And not just from a pooling perspective, even for like your tracers, your relic investments, it is a little bit also like, for example, if you were farming Jingyuan, you farmed the 4-piece flop set, you farmed his tracers to max level 10 and everything, you got his Lycon, Stitch Lycon and everything, and now if you want to play Acheron, you have to completely farm a brand new set of 4-piece diver as well as the Lycon experience and the trace levels and everything, right? So like, yeah, it is. That's just pretty much my thoughts. So this is only for DPS. I think for Harmony, we don't really feel it yet. We only have 4 limited support so far. Sorry, not even 4, right? 3. Okay, 4 if we include Robin. So we have Silver Wolf, Sparkle, Rame, and the future Robin. And we do need supports quite urgently, so we don't really feel it. But in the future, if we were to get more and more supports, or even sustains, how are we going to look at things from like a long-term perspective, because from the looks of it, new units are just getting stronger and stronger. So my personal suggestion, okay, I love this quote, right? There's no point complaining about something if you're not going to offer a possible solution to the problem that you are suggesting you're bringing up, right? So my possible suggestion is, I think the easiest way, the most direct way to kind of make things, or at least make players not feel as bad when they are, you know, they do own like these kind of units, is opening up the option, a game mode where a third team is introduced. I think this is by far
a third team,
the easiest way to still let players use the old units that they previously used, because now you need to build additional teams, right? And right now we do have 2 teams. Doesn't have to be implemented now, but maybe 1 year or even 2 years into the future, or even 3 years, how would a player make use of like all these different kinds of units? So that's one possible solution that we could have. Another possible solution, restrictions on Memory of Chaos and Pure Fusions. Because right now we have buffs. We have the buffs that incentivize players to pull for new units. But I feel that at this point, we don't really even need the incentives to let new players know that, hey, this new unit is absolutely ridiculous. They're still gonna pull just to get the kit themselves, right? So maybe in the future, they could add some kind of debuff to dissuade players from using the same comp over and over again, and bring a little bit a breath of fresh air.
What is that shield?
So that players are encouraged to use different kinds of units. So for example, how do we combat Acheron's like ridiculous thing? Or maybe enemies have like cleanse, or like 50% like effect rares or something, or like it's more difficult to apply debuffs, something like this. So this could target Acheron, this could target DOT, all that kind of stuff. And of course, all these things they're definitely,
dude, my Annihility team would die
implemented instantly, right? Because it's definitely gonna hurt players who don't have enough teams invested, right? 100%. But I'm talking about like 2-3 years in the future, when we like develop as a game and everybody have like so many different units, then it could be something that might bring a breath of fresh air. Either that, or we just have higher and higher and higher Memory of Chaos floor scalings. Because let's be real, guys, MiHoYo has to come with a way to incentivize players to pull for new units. If they don't increase the difficulty artificially by introducing new Memory of Chaos enemies or new Memory of Chaos floors, then what else can they do, right? So I think that way of increasing difficulty artificially, it will incentivize players to pull for newer and stronger units, but eventually all the older units, they probably won't get that much opportunity to shine. I think my bottom line is a way to not make old units irrelevant. That would make this game very, very healthy, and I think this would be probably one of, if not the best gacha games I've played. If they somehow manage to find a way to make old units
scared the shit out of me. Sorry, I didn't mean to pause it there. That just scared me.
Not completely irrelevant. That would be it, right? Yeah. That is pretty much my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And thank you so much for listening to my yap. This is not scripted. I'm just basically talking off the top of my head, because like Acheron is just such a, it's like, whoa, you know, such a boat, right? So yeah, if you want to engage in further discussions, drop it down in the comments, or join my Discord, discord.gg/Mrpokke.
There's a Pokey
on a daily basis. Want to check out my stream? That's twitch.tv/Mrpokke, as well on youtube.com/Mrpokke. I'll be streaming almost every single day. Surely we'll be out on Discord, right? So that's all I have for today. All the best for Acheron pools. By the time this video goes live, I think Acheron is doing better, hopefully. And I'll see you guys.
Could she do better? Fuck, I hope not. I think if they make her do better, that would be insanely busted. She's good where she's at right now. She doesn't need to get any better. But one thing that I did want to touch on is with people picking up Acheron and then getting her to E6. I've never really found a character that I've really needed to E6 at all. I mean, I E1 Kafka, and that was just completely on accident. I didn't really think I was going to get a character at early pity, which I've never done again. Even now with Jing Liu, I'm probably going to go to hard pity, and then I'm going to have to find out whether I need to spend money or not. But I've never really told, because he talked about how he thinks you shouldn't pick on characters that have a rerun banner. I would go a step further and say I don't even think you should really get any constellations, because if a character needs constellations to be good, I think they're probably pretty dog. And if they're gonna be that dog, you might as well just not get them at all. Like Fushuan is good by itself. Lukua is good by itself. Acheron's good by herself. Just on release like that. Kafka, I can't tell you because I got her. I got her constellation early on accident. Ruan Mei is good on herself. I have her at base. I'm trying to think of all the characters that I have that are just at base. 4-star units, I definitely would pull just because they need help with their constellations. But that's fine because they're permanently on the banner. So I'm trying to think of a character. I don't have Don Hunk Prime. I don't have Blade. Damn. I don't have Argenti. I completely forget about Argenti. He's still a character, chat. If anyone still knows, if anyone was wondering that. But yeah, unless you're like super sweaty, try hard, meta person, I wouldn't worry about power creep. I would more worry about just picking characters that you really like, because that's what I do. My characters just also happen to be busted. Whoops, that's my bad. I mean, they make the hot characters broken. That's just the tale as old as time. It's not my fault. What can you do? Anyways, I don't want to make this a lot longer than it needs to be. Comment, like, and subscribe. Tell me what you guys think. Is there a character that you feel is power crept? Do you like Zila still? Am I the only one? Let me know. Comment section down below. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I will catch you gamers in the next one. Bye.